Steel this massive was never meant to float, and yet it does. Rising from the Atlantic like a moving city of war, the USS Gerald R. Ford is not just an aircraft carrier, it is a statement of power that cost $13 billion to build. But what exactly lies inside this floating fortress, and why did it become one of the most controversial warships ever constructed? Before we step aboard, make sure you're subscribed to Sea Warfare Explained, because here we uncover the secrets behind the world's most powerful naval machines. And today we're going deeper than ever before. At first glance, the Ford looks familiar. A flat deck stretching longer than 3 football fields, a towering island structure, jets lined up like coiled predators. But beneath that steel surface, almost everything has changed. The USS Gerald R. Ford was designed to replace the legendary Nimitz-class carriers, ships that dominated the oceans for decades. Yet the Ford wasn't built to simply continue that legacy, it was built to redefine it. Deep inside the hull, 2 nuclear reactors hum silently. They will power this ship for over 50 years without refueling. Imagine that, half a century of continuous readiness. These reactors generate nearly 3 times the electrical power of older carriers. Why so much electricity? Because the Ford was built for a future where energy is the ultimate weapon. But the real revolution begins on the flight deck. For decades, aircraft carriers launched jets using steam catapults, violent bursts of pressurized steam that hurled aircraft into the sky. It worked, but it was brutal on equipment and crews. The Ford changed that with something called EMALS, the electromagnetic aircraft launch system. Instead of steam explosions, powerful electromagnetic rails accelerate jets with smooth controlled force. It's quieter, more precise, and far more adaptable. Lighter drones, heavier strike fighters. The system adjusts instantly. The result? Faster launches, less wear, and more sorties per day. And that's critical, because in modern warfare, speed is survival. The Ford can launch and recover aircraft at a pace unmatched by its predecessors. In theory, it can generate 160 sorties per day and surge to 220 in wartime. That means waves of fighters, surveillance aircraft, electronic warfare jets, and drones cycling continuously, turning this carrier into a floating airbase capable of reshaping entire regions. But launching aircraft is only half the story. Below deck, a network of advanced weapons elevators moves bombs and missiles from deep magazines to the flight deck. On older carriers, this process relied on cables and pulleys, systems prone to delay and mechanical stress. The Ford introduced electromagnetic elevators designed to move ordnance faster and more safely. It sounds simple, it wasn't. Development delays and technical challenges turned the Ford into a lightning rod for criticism. Costs soared. Timelines slipped. Skeptics asked, was this revolutionary ship becoming a billion-dollar mistake? Yet innovation at sea has always carried risk. Remember, every leap in naval history from ironclads to nuclear submarines faced doubt. The Ford represents a generational gamble. A bet that future wars will demand more power, more speed, more automation. And automation is everywhere on this ship. Compared to previous carriers, the Ford operates with hundreds fewer sailors. Advanced systems handle tasks that once required entire teams. Fewer crew means lower lifetime costs, but also a shift in naval culture. Sailors now manage digital networks as much as mechanical systems. War at sea is no longer just muscle and steel, it's code and electricity. Step into the ship's island, redesigned and moved further aft to improve flight deck efficiency. Inside, the command center glows with screens and data streams. Radar systems track threats hundreds of miles away. The dual-band radar was built to detect everything from high-flying aircraft to sea-skimming missiles. Imagine standing watch here at night. The ocean black and endless. Somewhere beyond the horizon, potential adversaries are watching too. Satellites orbit overhead, submarines move silently below. In this environment, reaction time is everything. And the Ford was engineered to react faster than any carrier before it. Yet for all its technology, the heart of the ship remains human. More than 4,000 sailors live aboard during deployment. They eat, sleep, train, and prepare inside a steel world isolated from land for months at a time. Corridors stretch like metallic arteries. Engine rooms pulse with energy. The hangar bay echoes with the sound of maintenance crews preparing the aircraft for another mission. Life here is relentless. Jets scream off the deck day and night. The smell of jet fuel mixes with salt air. Every launch is a calculated risk. Every recovery demands precision. And then there's the question that lingers beneath the surface. In an age of hypersonic missiles and long-range precision weapons, can a massive aircraft carrier still survive? Some argue that carriers are becoming too vulnerable, that modern missiles traveling at Mach 10 could overwhelm even advanced defenses. Others insist that the carrier strike group, layered with destroyers, cruisers, submarines, and aircraft, remains the most flexible and powerful tool in military strategy. The Ford was built with this debate in mind. Its defensive systems integrate with escort ships or create a protective shield extending far beyond the horizon. Electronic warfare aircraft jam enemy sensors. Early warning planes scan the skies. Destroyers intercept incoming threats. The carrier itself carries close-in weapon systems as a last line of defense. It is not a lone giant, it is the center of a moving fortress. But power comes with symbolism. When the USS Gerald R. Ford enters a region, it sends a message without firing a shot. Allies feel reassured. Adversaries take notice. Few instruments of policy are as visible or as persuasive as a nuclear-powered carrier group appearing offshore. And yet, beneath the symbolism lies a deeper reality. The Ford represents a transition point, a bridge between 20th century naval dominance and an uncertain 21st century battlefield shaped by cyber warfare drones, artificial intelligence, and hypersonic speed. Will it dominate the oceans for decades? Or will it become a stepping stone towards something even more radical? Unmanned fleets, autonomous carriers, energy weapons drawing on its vast electrical reserves. Because here's the part most people overlook. The Ford was designed with future weapons in mind. Its massive electrical capacity could one day power directed energy weapons, lasers capable of intercepting missiles at the speed of light. Systems not yet fully deployed, but waiting. This ship isn't just built or today's wars. It's built for wars we can barely imagine. And that is why it matters. Inside its steel hull lies more than technology. It carries the weight of strategy, politics, and national ambition. It carries the question of whether size and power still rule the sea or whether the ocean is entering a new, unpredictable era. As the sun sets over the Atlantic and the Ford cuts through darkening waves, its deck lights flicker on like a floating city. Jets stand ready, radar scans endlessly. Thousands of sailors move with purpose. A $13 billion machine, a symbol of dominance, a gamble on the future of naval warfare, because in the end, the USS Gerald R. Ford is more than a ship. It is a test of innovation, a test of strategy, a test of whether the age of the supercarrier is nearing its twilight or just beginning a new chapter. And somewhere beyond the horizon, history is waiting for the answer.